bunch of new content, including a brand new season, and instead of waiting 6 weeks. Now, an interesting update is a brand new Pathfinder achievement. Putting it in for WoW quests just makes sense. You can see the names floating by on screen. If you like to
Hey everyone, I'm Matthew Whitrock, design lead for our newest set, which I'm excited to introduce today. We're calling this set, drumroll please, Remix Rumble. We've got a full playlist today, so I'll open with gameplay and then pass it to the rest of the lineup to chat music, cosmetics, ranked, and more. We'll also jump backstage at a few points to give you a behind-the-scenes look at how different parts of Remix Rumble came together. All right, let's jump right into the bands. And by bands, I mean traits. In Remix Rumble, you're the DJ, and the board is your turntable. By combining different traits, you'll create a medley of beats and genres. Let's start with familiar chart toppers, beginning with the ultimate pop stars, KDA. Get the entire lobby bumping with KDA and their most dedicated superfans. Position them just so, and you'll find yourself at the performance of a lifetime, with incredible choreography and a bunch of bonus stats. Okay, let's make like a collie and hop over to the next band. True Damage and Pentakill are also in the mix, and both stay true to their names. True Damage grants extra attack speed. Wait, that can't be right. This is more like it. True Damage members are all about style, and will gain a unique bling bonus that'll power them up as you itemize them. Oh, and before you ask, Akali will be able to be played in KDA or True Damage. Her trait will change based on whichever band is trending at the time. All right, metalheads, Pentakill's up next. Pentakill members have damage reduction and bonus damage that increases as they score kills. And if your team manages to get a Pentakill, then their bonuses will increase again. Just be careful in Yorick's mosh pit. Then there's Heartsteel, fresh off their debut and already making their mark on the Convergence. These guys are ready to bring the energy and do whatever it takes for their fans. They may have started out underground, but they're certainly able to take you to the top of the charts and the lobby if you can conquer their risky style. But we can't put on a proper Remix Rumble with only 4 bands. We also have some all-new groups entering the Convergence. With original TFT looks, Lulu and Ziggs make up the jittery, ridiculous, hyperpop duo Glitter Bomb. Speaking of original TFT skins, Remix Rumble has plenty. There's a whole new class, Superfans, who show off their fandom with style. The trait pumps up your headliner, more on that later, by turning one or more of their items into Radiant items. My personal favorite new look is Bard, who has joined the jazz trio Free Flow. He and his meeps are looking as smooth as they sound. Before I get into the mechanics, let's head backstage to learn more about how we made some of these traits with Alex Cole and one of our lesser-known devs.
We knew set 10 was going to be our big music set. So when we think back of kind of like what the steps were, we knew we were going to have this big music moment. We were celebrating 10 sets of TFT, which was going to be huge. And really, we just kind of leaned right in and we were like, cool, we know we're going to do all of these cool origins. And then we go through the process of what skin lines do we have available that we can tie those to. And luckily, we had a ton of cool and groovy skin lines. And we played with them a little bit with like Space Group becoming disco and some stuff like that. But yeah, we were pretty quick to just turn right in and be like, oh, wow, we have tons of things to pull from, which is really exciting.
So I'm pretty excited about Heartsteel. The economy trait is always a fan favorite of ours, but we've had this problem for a long time where the economy trait is you get it at 2-1 or you don't really play it. And so this time we took a very clear goal of how do you play it if you don't hit it at 2-1? And so what you can do is you can play it at any point in the game, and the more you've got, the bigger the payout. You try to lose by just a little bit, but even if you win, you're still going to be getting this fan, and then it's going to cash out after a few turns. And so you can even pivot into it in the late game, and I think that's going to be a real skill-expressive part of the game, is that ability to go, okay, I'm in a position where I can play Heartsteel for a few turns, and then get my reward, and then pivot back. And I think that's going to lead to a lot of really cool skill-expressive moments.
My favorite trait this set is definitely the country trait, which features our Desperado band. Historically in TFT, we've done a lot of really cool things with summon traits. We did Baron this last set, we did Innovator in set 6, and I'm really excited for Country to join those ranks. So with Country, we have something called the Midnight Horse, which is Hecarim, and when your champions sort of get lower or lose health, Hecarim will ride in and save the day. So operating a little bit like Galio from set 4, if players remember that one. So I think the challenges with these two is we kept trying to find the identity for each of them, and they ended up being really intertwined with each other. So there was a day where myself, Whitrock, the set lead, and Mort literally sat down and mapped out the entire set on a whiteboard. I don't remember who it was, but one of us was just like, oh, we don't have a summon trait. And we kind of played around with that. And on the flip side, we were also playing around with like, is it risky to have our econ trait be one of the main verticals? Like, is that something we want to do or try? Which is really exciting. And we ended up going with it and kind of seeing those two traits in particular, like kind of kept going back and forth and changing shape with each other. But we were happy with how it all landed. Yeah, I would say it's pretty clear on this team that I'm probably the biggest Ari stan around. So KDA being in the set is a huge, exciting moment for me.
When deciding which mechanics to include in Remix Rumble, we wanted to bring you a greatest hits playlist from past sets, starting with Runeterra Reforged. Portals are making a comeback. They'll have a bit less impact than some of the wilder ones from last set. We can do without you, Stillwater Hold, but they're sure to continue creating memorable moments. We won't be bringing back Legends for Remix Rumble. We learned a lot from seeing how Legends could influence the meta and individual enjoyment of the set, so we feel like there's more exploration and experimentation to be done in this space before we potentially revisit it, but we'll keep you updated along the way. Okay, back to what we are bringing back. One of TFT's most beloved mechanics is returning in an updated way. No, not augments, although we will be introducing new augments for Remix Rumble as well. I'm talking about headliners, our fresh take on the chosen mechanic from Fates. Headliners are the star of your board. They appear occasionally in shops, and are purchased at 2 stars. Headliners have tons of immediate power, and they give you +1 to one of their traits. But here's where headliners diverge from Chosen. Each one will have a specific headliner effect that empowers them in a way that only a true fan would appreciate. Take Bard from the Jazz Trio, who improvises a few notes to either heal an ally or deal a bit of damage. When Bard is your headliner, every 10 casts will generate a meep that allows him to play 1 extra note on his first cast of combat. Bard is the type of headliner that will scale into the endgame. Whether that scale is major or minor depends on how early you can get it. Some headliners will be difficult to find endgame carries. Take Yorick, a legendary unit who temporarily summons ghouls. When this headbanger is your headliner, the ghouls will be bigger and deal more damage. And one more thing about our mechanics. All of them will be harmonizing together, so keep an eye and an ear out for that. All right, let's check back in with Alex and Mort to talk more about headliners.
So early
More about headliners.
So early on, when we were exploring the different mechanics, we knew we were doing a music theme. And so we kind of had this image where it's like, okay, the band is all on there together, but what is it that makes it special? How can we twist it? And we kept coming back to, it's like, well, who's singing at the moment? Who's the star of the show, if you will? And that kind of led us to a system we call Headliner, which was like, okay, you're going to pick who your headliner is. And we kept coming up with versions that were slightly different than Chosen, but had a lot of the same advantages. Chosen was one of our first big mechanics that wasn't just like galaxies or a variation. And it was something that allowed every champion to kind of be the centerpiece, right? Like you would tell stories of, oh, this was the game I got Silas chosen and I did this thing, or this was the game I got Kennen chosen. But what was interesting is as we were kind of researching it, we realized that was before a lot of these other mechanics, right? Augments hadn't been around. And so a lot of the burden of the system has changed. And so as we were looking at this and kind of seeing all the pieces come together, it felt like kind of a greatest hits of TFT, which once we realized that was such a great opportunity to bring it all together. And so that's when we've kind of anchored on Headliner being sort of the upgraded Chosen. You know, we've got Radiant items, augments, portals, and it really does sort of feel like 10 sets worth of TFT knowledge all coming together to make this really awesome set.
I think with the headliner mechanic, players will be most excited about the champ fantasies that it unlocks. So whether you are a player that really loves re-rolling those 1 or 2 costs, or you're a player that likes those 4 cost carry fantasies, headliner allows you to do any direction you want every game, and unlocks a lot of variation, which is exciting. These are things that we never predict coming in, like what is the built different comp of this set? Like what are the combinations that we during production have no idea are coming, that we see videos of at 2 a.m. From China, and we're like, wow, that's amazing, I can't believe they came up with this idea.
Those cool combinations that keep you coming back and have an exciting payoff, I think is always what we're looking for when we're making new sets. It's like, what is the cool next thing to try out?
Hey everyone, I'm Cole Hicks, lead composer of Remix Rumble, and I'm here to talk about the heart of this set, the music. In Remix Rumble, each trait brings new sounds to your board. While you're building your team, you're building your track. Remix Rumble was an all-hands-on-deck moment for our team. Many different composers and collaborators created original music for each origin trait, and made it possible for all of it to meld together in any combination based on whichever units you have out on your board. To make genres like metal sound seamless with, say, jazz or pop, we wrote 2 main songs. Through a mix of layers that contain drums, chords, and melodies, your track will be built alongside your team. And as the game progresses, your track will too. Starting off one way during the preparation phase, and building up to a more complex chorus for the battle. Let me show you an example of how all this will look and sound, starting with our disco band, the Disconauts. Their trait gives you a placeable disco ball that will heal your allies and grant them attack speed. As you get later into the game, you can add in more Disconauts to strengthen the trait. Then you could add in a destructive splash of pentakill for a killer guitar solo, soaring over it all. Now let's talk a bit about the tracks we wrote. For groups like KDA and Pentakill that already exist in the League IP, we tried to capture their instrumental essence with some TFT twists. And we brought in new genres like 8-bit and country, but more on those later. We also made sure powerful units like Jin got their moment in the spotlight. For Maestro, Jin's legendary trait, we mixed in a Paganini-esque violin solo to create a modern interpretation of classical music, fit for the virtuoso himself. This sound was the perfect fit for a trait that deals extra damage to tactician health and a champion whose ability builds up in a cadenza of damage. By putting out different units on your board, you'll create a symphony of controlled chaos. Try combining the relentless drums of Pentakill with our harpsichord-heavy emo band, Big Sad. Or maybe as your comp changes, you'll create music that features the bass of true damage alongside the groovy horn section of Disco Nuts. It's absolutely ridiculous, and that's just TFT. All right, let's head backstage with the team for a quick recording session.
That's great, man.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty good first read down and,
Moving on?
Awesome.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, let's move on.
All right, everybody's happy.
I think one of the challenges of working on this set is the multiple genres and how they're going to be remixed into one another. There are a total of, I believe, 10 to 12 genres, some of them more bespoke than others because it's based on our virtual band, but all of this are being done by 7 composers together. So this is the biggest collaboration within Riot composers that we have done for Teamfight Tactics.
Authenticity is both a goal and a challenge. Because we're doing so many different genres, and some of them have a fair amount of crossover as far as types of sounds and things that we're using. For example, we're doing a DJ Sona genre, but we also have a straight like EDM genre. And so you almost have to really lean into the things that might be different about those two things. Like we have this established thing that Riot has done versus a genre that already exists, and really kind of leaning into some of the more expected things that players are going to want to be hearing.
How do we make it so that each of our elements actually stand out in a way that right away an audience would be able to be like, oh, like they're doing this punk rock thing without getting it confused with Pentakill, right? A metal band. They both use guitars, they both use drums, they both use bass. How are those genres being executed differently and is able to be recognized by our players right away?
KDA is another example of like, it's not just what are the things that make it sound like KDA, it's what are the things that make it sound like KDA if just the drums are playing or if just the chords are playing. One of the cool things about this set is that it is supposed to be a bit crazy sometimes. So we were able to sort of like lean into it being like, oh, that sounds a bit silly.
Yeah,
but it's
and some
kinda
surprising
cool.
things came out that were really cool. Like, for example, I think we discovered that saxophone solo over Heartsteel is very cool. We have also discovered that a violin solo on top of Jason's EDM track is very cool.
Very cool. And we would have never made those choices as composers.
Normally,
right. It's okay to lean into the silliness sometimes because it is a fun idea and it's supposed to be fun.
Right.
Whereas other genres obviously will work in a way where you're like, oh, that's like, I would put that on my playlist and listen to it.
Yeah. For us, the collaboration is a little chaotic, and I think that's also us embracing that energy of like, we're not entirely sure if this is gonna work, and we're just kind of, like riding with the flow and write what we believe in, and then we come together and let's hear how this is gonna go.
TFT is the space where, as a composer, I get to play around the most and basically try whatever fun ideas I might have. The team is very open to experimentation. So from that perspective, even though it is a fair amount different than anything we've done in TFT before, I think TFT is the perfect place to do it. And I think the players of TFT are also really on board with these kinds of fun ideas.
100%.
Hi, everyone.
I'm Ananda Gupta, Design Director on TFT. Today, I'm here to give an update on cosmetics, and then I'll talk about Ranked, as well as a much anticipated release for many of our players, the Asia Pacific mobile launch. We're thrilled to bring more high-quality personalization that will be released throughout the start of Remix Rumble. Ahead of that, we want to give you a sneak peek and equip you with an understanding of the release schedule, both to prepare collectors as well as inform folks who want to nab their favorite. Chibi Set and Chibi Heartsteel Set have entered the building, and they're looking to pull off a heist straight to the top of the lobby. Chibi Heartsteel Set moves fast and will depart the Treasure Realms after the first 2 weeks of Remix Rumble. And if you want more, the KDA Arena is definitely more. Drop your comp smack dab in the middle of a KDA show and take top 4, or bottom 4. It won't matter with an arena this stunning. After 2 weeks, Chibi KDA Akali will screech onto the scene. Then, the moment I've been waiting for, KDA Kaisa will hit the convergence 3 weeks into the set. She and KDA Akali will be available through Treasure Realms that will only last until our next event. Each drop will provide high-value content, from chibis to mythic little legends, and even a chance to hit a random chibi variant like Dragonmancer Ash or Star Guardian Lux. But the biggest high roll of those collector capsules is KDA Kaisa. Kaisa is the centerpiece for players looking to flaunt that extra special drop. But Prestige Treasure Realms are full of high-value offerings from past sets. So, whether you're a collector looking to pick up something you missed, or a little legend enthusiast just getting your first chibi, no matter what you hit, it's bound to hit hard. After Remix Rumble ships, we've got even more work ahead of us. We know players want more say in what they purchase, and we're working towards exactly that in a system we're internally calling the Seasonal Store. We're not quite ready to go into the finer details yet, but I am ready to get into Remix Rumble's pass. Remix Rumble marks our transition to 3 sets a year, and we're updating our pass structure to reflect that. We'll still have 2 passes in every set, but since sets now last 4 months, each pass will be 2 months long. So, we're redistributing rewards and accelerating pass progression to make all the rewards easier to obtain. Not every pass will look the same. Each Pass Plus will have different high-value rewards. For example, you'll see our new Neon Stage Arena in Remix Rumble's first pass, and in the Rumble's second half, Sugarcone Poro. And just as our pass is changing to accommodate 3 sets a year, our ranked season is also changing. Like League of Legends, we're adding Emerald tier to our ranked ladder. It'll add more climbing room, while also recognizing the skill progression that players show between Platinum and Diamond. This comes at the perfect time as we transition to creating 3 sets a year, and 3 ranked seasons to go with them. Without mid-sets, there's no soft reset of your rank throughout the season, so you'll have more time to track your progress on the expanded ladder, prove your skill, and get new Emerald rewards. We're not looking to make the climb harder. Emerald and a longer season should mean a smoother, more consistent climb overall. We know TFT is a more chaotic game than League, and we don't want to punish or reward you too much for performance outliers. You can play great and still low roll in TFT, and our ranked system should and will reflect that. Okay, before you get too excited and queue up for ranked, let's chat mobile. The launch of Remix Rumble in late November will be the first time TFT is available on mobile in APAC regions, and we're shipping a number of improvements along with this launch that will impact the entire world. But first, I want to thank our APAC players for their patience. We've been working towards bringing mobile to you since we launched it during Galaxies, and we know that you've awaited its arrival ever since. In preparation for this launch, our Tools and Engine team has been hard at work making mobile usability, stability, and performance improvements. And for the tablet players out there, one of these improvements is tablet support. Come Remix Rumble, you can say goodbye to the black bars and wonky scaling when playing on tablet, and hello to a smoother, prettier, tablet-tailored experience. We've seen a ton of anticipation for TFT Mobile in APAC and tablet support across the world, and we can't wait to kick it all off with Remix Rumble. So, APAC players, make sure to pre-register for our launch, as we'll be offering multiple pre-registration milestone rewards, from treasure tokens to a new little legend, Boba Tea River Sprite. And if you're not in APAC, don't worry, this little Sprite will eventually be available to everyone.
Was that the last boba? Yep. Oh, okay. Hey everyone, Sherman back to talk about all things TFT esports. It's been awesome to see the growth of TFT esports over the last few sets. We've seen 3 sets of steady viewer growth for set championships, and with the Runeterra Reforged Championship, we're hoping to make it 4. We're about 5 weeks out from our first global LAN event, the TFT Vegas Open. It'll be from December 8th through the 10th, with 512 competitors from around the world as they take over the MGM Grand. I first want to say that we were blown away by how quickly competitor passes sold out back in September, and we can't wait to see you battle it out there. The event happens early in Remix Rumble, testing players' ability to adapt, innovate, and lead the meta. This is a moment where players from anywhere can step into the spotlight and become IRL headliners. The player that comes out on top will walk away with $100,000, a trophy, and most importantly, the TFT Vegas Open title. And even if you don't get first, the 128 players who make it to day 2 will win a piece of the $300,000 prize pool. And all 512 players who participate in the event will get a unique emote based on how far they make it into the tournament. But don't worry, the Vegas Open won't be a replacement for a championship. Now that we've switched over to 3 sets a year, we're adjusting to have a competitive season for each one. So rest assured there will be a Remix Rumble Championship at the end of the set. It'll be the culmination of Remix Rumble, so we have high expectations for the comps players will bring to the finals, now that they've had a chance to master the set. For those of you competing in Vegas, PvE goes live the 2nd week of November, so get out there and start crafting your go-to comps. As for everyone else, we're super excited for our first ever LAN event, and we hope to see you all there, either in person or digitally. All right, thanks so much for watching, good luck and have fun out there. Till next time.
凡士林专业修护润肤露，敏感肌适用，3重精炼修护成分，有效缓解干痒，5天有感修护。凡士你皆不凡 ，Vaseline。
桂格5X30分钟补充能量，6小时好精神 ，B 群人参浓缩精华饮。
Итак, всем привет. Сейчас убьет этого хум.
Мудрые слова. The storm peaks await you. Take a look around and see what you find. Versus Illidan.
The Legion's rage pales before mine.
My blade burns with holy fire. Hey, I got you, friend.
Fresh cells. Hot out of the kiln.
Taste the mana.
On my watch.
vessels congeal with local Suffer, mortal! I will still fight.
I must protect the wild.
My blade burns with holy fire.
for no one.
My hand is full. My hand is full.
YouTube Premium 是零广告 YouTube 外加零广告 YouTube Kids 应用程式，免费试用1个月。
Liadrin versus Malfurion.
I must protect the wild.
My blade burns with holy fire.
I see you've brought guests.
Taste the mana.
This is my responsibility.
Bravo mademoiselle Camille Thomas, nommée cette année dans la catégorie Révélation soliste instrumentale. Et Béatrice Béru, piano. Bravo et merci.
Waits for no one.
Strengths. Knowing transformation is part of the journey. A timeless story of renewal. Youth. Everlasting. Lamed.
得意的一天熬鲜汤真有料，独门真功夫，汤头超。
又要轮夜班，好累哦。就被疲惫的自己拖累了吗？白兰氏双认证基金，提神补体力，迅速甩开疲惫的自己，日夜轮班不断电，口感升级更顺口。
this video, we're going to be solving a non-standard equation. And the reason why it's called non-standard is because we have cosine and x together. So you cannot solve this problem by regular means. Let's see how we can approach it. I'll be showing you two different graphs and sort of like two different approaches. So in order to handle this problem first, I'm going to look at it as is, which is this one. So I'm going to be looking at the behavior of the function f of x equals cosine x minus x. Let's take a look at the behavior. What do I mean by behavior? How it increases or decreases, or does it have a minima or maxima and stuff like that. So I'm going to differentiate this expression. Derivative of cosine is negative sine, and the derivative of x is 1. So this is the derivative, and I claim that this is always negative or less than or equal to 0. Now, why am I doing that, right? So that could kind of look meaningless to you at this point, but here's the thing. If you take out a negative sign, you get this. And let's go ahead and get rid of this for now, because I'm not just claiming it. We're going to prove it. So f prime can be written as follows. And one thing to remember about sine and cosine is that they have they're bounded from above and below. So sine x is always between -1 and 1 inclusive, as long as x is real, of course, right? If x is not real, sine x can be 2. We've done some problems using complex numbers, so on and so forth. That's a different story. But if x is real, this is the deal. So notice that sine x is greater than or equal to -1. I don't care about the positive 1 here. So if you add 1 to both sides of this inequality, you get the following. That gives you sine x plus 1 is always greater than or equal to 0. What does that mean? It just means that sine x plus 1 is always going to be greater or equal to 0. But we don't have that. Why did I say decreasing? Did I say decreasing? I don't know. But if sine x plus 1 is greater or equal to 0, this is always going to be less than or equal to 0 because it's multiplied by -1. Anytime you see a negative on the outside, always think of it as multiplication by -1, because sometimes, you know, people are tricked by problems like this. Is this -25 or +25? Of course it is -25 because it just means -1 times 5 squared. Makes sense? Anyways, so this is always less than or equal to 0. If f prime is less than or equal to 0, that means f is decreasing. Okay? F is going to be decreasing. And what does that mean? If f is decreasing and you set f of x equals 1, you set it equal to 1, this is always a decreasing function, and this is a constant function whose graph is what? Horizontal. What's going to happen? They're going to intersect at a single point. Of course, the graph isn't like that, but I'm just making it up. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at the graph of cosine x minus x to get a better idea, and then we'll talk about this again. So here's the graph of cosine x minus x. As you can see, it is decreasing. What happens at some of these values? We have something, okay, if you set the derivative equal to 0, and then you're going to find something interesting. Let's not get into that right now, but you can definitely go ahead and take a look. What was the derivative? Negative sine x minus 1. Set it equal to 0. You're going to get sine x is -1, and then find the x values, and you'll see what happens. But this is what the graph looks like, and notice that the horizontal line intersects the graph at a single point, and that happens to be at 0, 1. Therefore, x equals 0 is the only solution. But is that the only way to approach it? No. We're going to take a look at another graph along with some calculations, and then we will finish this problem up. Okay? Ready? Let's go ahead and take a look at another graph now. So here's the graph of two functions, cosine x and x plus 1 separately. Because remember, our equation was cosine x minus x equals 1. I can go ahead and add x to both sides, and then look at these two functions a little differently. Because it's easier to look at cosine x, right? I mean, it's just going to curve like a sine curve, but it has a shift. It's going to be maximum at 0, and then 2 pi, and then so on and so forth, right? And then x plus 1 is just a line, straight line. And notice that what happens here is our function, the cosine function, takes the minimum value at negative pi, which happens to be -1. And our linear graph or function takes the exact same value at somewhere else. Where? At -2, of course, right? So notice that the line, the purple line, always stays below the blue. Is that a green line? I think it's blue. And they will only intersect at a single point. Look at the intersection point and the curve, and then the distance between these graphs is always increasing. Because what happens is this function, the linear function, is going to be going down as the other graph is going down, but it's going to curve, so it's going to get a little farther, and then it's going to get a little closer, but they will never intersect again. Therefore, x equals 0 is the only solution to this equation. And this brings us to the end of this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. I'll see you next time.
struggle to maintain the history.
Now is the time.
Yo.
Mysterious
Yo,
mostly 'cause I
like
can't
the far
stand it.
left
Or
and
about
far.
Ask me my opinion on
Oh, they're gonna talk about Diablo.
During this section, I'll share an overview.
At Sabancı University, we teach our students how to learn. This basically means knowing how one learns and continues to learn throughout life. For this reason, we offer our students the freedom to choose their own diploma programs. No student who chooses to study at Sabancı University has to decide on the program in advance, because we prepare our students for life with a flexible curriculum and an interdisciplinary philosophy. We open up space for them to find out what they are passionate about so that they can become self-confident, and we show them the necessary techniques. Our Foundations Development Program, double major and minor programs are also part of this whole. For this reason, we are the choice of the most successful students.
What makes Sabancı University special is its research focus. So we don't do just teaching here, but we are also developing the knowledge that contributes to our teaching. So it's a research institution, and we will be happy to see you working with us. And if you're interested in participating in these research activities, we will be very happy to host people from different backgrounds, different stages in their academic careers. Undergraduate students, graduate students are all welcome.
We have countless graduates who have made a name for themselves all over the world, thanks to the opportunities and the quality of education offered by Sabancı University. Being a Sabancı member means, first of all, being a part of a leading university, not only with its education, but also with its campus environment and practices that give importance to the world and the future.
I live in the dormitory on the campus. At first, I felt a bit of a stranger. However, this is such a campus which meets all our needs, in which it is full of social activities.
We can do our sports around the lake or indoors. Sometimes we make music with the club activities, and other times we study all the night in the information center.
One of the strongest aspects of Sabancı University is that it has a strong academic staff who have completed their education at the most prestigious universities in the world, who are experts in their fields and who actively continue their research. Our students can always communicate comfortably with the faculty members and arrange a meeting about the subjects they do not understand and for career counseling.
At Sabancı University, students have the privilege of enjoying a vibrant campus life filled with diverse opportunities. Alongside receiving a quality education, we uncovered our potential through the various facilities available on campus, including the state-of-the-art sports center. Engaging in sports club that embraces different interests from football and basketball to sailing and motorsports, which enriches our university experience. Furthermore, we have the opportunity to gain new skills and experiences exploring different aspects of ourselves through participation in various students' clubs and social events.
As an international student, I must say that Sabancı University offers the most diverse and welcoming community I've ever experienced. The education language being entirely in English has made it easier for me to fully engage and excel in my studies. I appreciate the safety and security measures in place on campus, making me feel at ease during my stay here. The availability of shuttles to the city center allows me to explore Istanbul's vibrant and historical city life.
Here at Sabancı University, our laboratories are well equipped with the latest technologies in the world. This is a world-class university prioritizing research, and our laboratories are open to all our students.
Thanks to the exchange programs at Sabancı University, we also have the opportunity to experience different universities abroad. I was in University of Porto in Portugal in my second year as an Erasmus exchange student. This unique 6-month experience has greatly benefited to both my personal growth and career development.
The research centers of Sabancı University continue their work in very different areas, ranging from social science to nanotechnology. These centers also provide us with a link to the real-world problems of industry. Our students and our researchers get the opportunity to work on these real problems and create solutions that will be beneficial for the society.
I am working in the area of robotics control and automation. I would like to introduce our robot Sural and Surkan. These robots are designed and built in our robotics laboratory for leg locomotion experiments.
Our aim is to ensure that every student studying at Sabancı University becomes not only a successful graduate of their program, but also a global citizen. At the moment, about 25% of our graduates are successfully continuing their studies or their work in different countries worldwide, in the best universities, continuing their master's or PhD studies, or even creating their own companies. We are very proud of the success of our students and our graduates. Many companies today compete to attract successful graduates. This situation will be easily recognizable for Sabancı University graduates. Every year, many large companies apply to our school to recruit students for their internship programs. Of course, there is a reason for this: our well-educated and visionary students. Almost all of our graduates start a job within the same year they graduate. Students discover themselves through an amazing journey at our university. One day, in our conversation with one of our graduates, I asked, "How would you describe this place in one sentence?" The answer was, "This is the university that made me who I am and prepared me for the future." Ensuring this is one of Sabancı University's most important goals.
Super One 会员后，每个月省超多，再也不用吃土。谢谢。
不用吃土了。
不用吃土了？不用吃土了？
对啊，不用吃土了。
Super One 一定省，不吃土。
Hello everyone. In this video we're going to be solving an exponential equation. We have e to the power pi to the power x equals pi to the power e to the power x. And we're going to be solving for x values. E and pi are constants. As you know, hopefully, e is Euler's number and pi is just pi, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and see how we can solve this problem. Our goal is to get to x, but x is way up there. So how do you bring that down? You can log both sides. So there's a couple different ways to go about it. You can use natural log, base 10, or even base pi. Can we use pi as a base? Of course, you can use any base greater than 0 and different from 1. All right, let's go ahead and use the natural log because we have e on the left-hand side. So ln e to the power pi to the power x equals ln pi to the power e to the power x. Now, this is good in so many ways. First of all, it's going to bring down the exponents, and then we're going to be able to isolate x, right? So let's go ahead and use properties of exponents. We're going to bring this to the front, and we're going to bring this to the front. Okay, if you want to write e to the power pi to the x in parentheses, that's fine. Some people say, okay, whenever you have something like ln y, put that in parentheses. I don't think there's going to be any confusion, but some people do. Anyways, so when you bring those down, you're going to get pi to the power x times ln e equals e to the power x times ln pi. Great. Now, do you see any obvious solutions like x equals 0 or x equals 1? That would be a good question, right? Obviously, when you get something like this, you should check for trivial solutions, which are usually 0, plus minus 1, or something special like e. Anyways, you can check that out, but I'm going to proceed with the following. Now, we were not able to get the bring the x down yet because it's still in the exponent, but that's okay. Now, you might be thinking, okay, can I ln both sides? Is that going to help? Sure, you can definitely do that. And let me tell you quickly what's going to happen if you do. For example, on the left-hand side, if you ln this, and by the way, ln e is 1. I don't need to write it anymore. Okay, so let's just erase it. So now you're going to end up, let's erase this and clean up a little bit. So this is going to give you pi to the x equals e to the x times ln pi. So if you wanted to ln both sides one more time, this is what it would look like. Ln pi to the x equals ln e to the x times ln pi. Ln pi is constant, so it's just, you can call that c if you want. Now we're going to bring this x to the front one more time. That's going to give us x ln pi. And then here, that's a product, so it's going to be ln e to the x plus ln pi. So you kind of have to double ln. And then you're going to bring this to the front, and yes, this is going to accomplish what you're trying to do, which is, I guess, to bring all the x's down because you're trying to solve for x. So you can do it that way, but I have a different idea. This is definitely going to work, but let's go ahead and do it a little differently. But that's an alternative that works. At this point, it makes sense if we divide both sides by e to the power x, because those are two expressions and these are exponential expressions or functions. We can divide both sides by e to the x. And that gives us ln pi. And now we can use x as a common exponent. So kind of take it out. And we get the following. And at this point, you may just log both sides or ln both sides. That's going to come down to the same thing. But when you do, let's ln this one and let's ln this one. That's going to give us, of course, this x is going to move. We're going to get x ln pi over e. Let's put that in parentheses. Equals ln pi. Remember, with the other alternative, we also got the same thing. So turns out you're going to get the exact same answer. But of course, with some manipulations, because could you simplify ln pi over e? Of course. But let's go ahead and divide by ln pi over e first, because I want to get x by itself, and then worry about any simplifications. Okay, so that's the answer. And numerically, if you are wondering what that looks like, you can look it up. Use a calculator. But this is the exact answer. Now, would this work? You can go ahead and plug it in, but that's too painful. But let me just tell you this. This is fun. If you are learning algebra, this would be a really good exercise. For example, let's think about it on the left-hand side. You're going to replace x with this. So it's going to be e to the power pi to the power ln pi over ln pi over e. One thing that will make this a little easier is, I think, if you use change of base to write this as a different logarithm. But no matter what you do, it's going to be a little painful. Yes, there's a lot of work. And of course, you have to do it on the right-hand side, which is equally bad. And then they should be equal. Okay, two bads are equal to each other. But that's the answer. And like I said, the other alternative also works well. And this brings us to the end of this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. I'll see you next time with another video.
匠心缔造
Very nice. I like the pattern. Now this isn't going to be the final pattern after I'm done forging and everything. Things are going to move and grinding's going to clean it up a lot. But I'm trying to find that right spot where I need to cut it, so that the tip of my sword gets a really nice piece of the pattern.
Hello， 大家好，我是波提。随着 S8.5 的测试开售，越来越多人有玩 PVE 的需求。每到这个时刻呢，我就被问到爆，所以我终于决定来做一部影片，好好教一下如何申办跟下载 PVE。之后再有人问呢，我就直接叫你来我家罚站。基本上会分为4大步骤，非常简单。第一个呢就是创建 PVE 的账号。第一个呢就是你可以先Google搜寻这个 TFT PVE 这几个字，点击进入 PVE 的网站，然后点选 Login， 输入你的 Riot 的账号登录，接着再点选创建账号，这边就可以直接完成 PVE 的注册了。要记得呢 ，PVE 的账号和你原本就是 Riot 的账号呢是不一样的，所以有的时候你会发现你怎么登录进去 PVE， 有可能只是你犯傻了，就是你完全忘记 PVE 的账号是什么。所以我建议你最好是把它记下来会是比较好的。再来第二个步骤就是下载 PVE 的一个客户端。首先呢，点选 Windows 或者说 Mac， 接着直接点选安装。接着第3个呢就是修改它的语言包，因为你一进去 PVE， 你就会发现它的是英文的一个界面。这个时候呢，你就最好先到桌面，然后点选 PVE 的右键，接着点内容，然后开启档案的一个位置，找到 Riot Games 的一个资料夹，选择 PVE 的这个资料夹之后，找到 LEAGUECLIENT， 接着呢点选右键建立捷径，接着呢你可以自己重新命名一下，像我自己的话就把它改名成 PVE 中文化，就是方便之后我就知道这边点进来的话它就会直接是中文化的。接着呢就是对我们刚刚建立的这个捷径点选右键，然后按下内容，在目标后面呢加上空格，然后2条横线加上它的一个语法，改完之后呢按套用跟围读就可以完成中文化了。这边也提醒一下大家，繁中的话呢后面会是 TW， 简中的话是 CN。但有的时候呢繁中进去之后，游戏会有出现乱码的一个状况发生，通常是因为繁中还没有翻译好。这个时候呢你就可以尝试使用简中的一个版本看看，或者说如果你英文够好的话，你就直接用原文的就可以了。好，这样子的话呢，我们就完成了 PVE 的注册跟下载了，输入账号密码就可以登录 PVE 进行游戏了。还有一些朋友可能之后会被派往外地工作，或者说留学想要玩外服的，这边也跟大家分享一下如何注册外服的账号。我通常呢是都玩北美日服跟 OCE， 其中日服的品质呢是我觉得最顺畅的。还有的一个步骤呢，也就是先 Google 搜寻这个联盟战旗，第二个呢进入我们联盟战旗的一个官网，接着你就会看到右上角呢，你就可以去选择你的地区，看你是想要去玩哪一个伺服器的都可以。接着按下右上角的 Play Now， 输入 email 还有输入生日，就可以创建你的账号密码了。战旗跟 LOL 是连在一起，所以你也可以直接体验到英雄联盟的部分。像是英雄联盟如果出什么样的一个新角色的话，其实都是可以去抢先体验的。如果你觉得这支影片有帮助到你的话，也可以帮我按个赞，按个订阅，也欢迎加入 YouTube 会员支持我。下方我会再附上相关的一个链接，方便大家去查询。那今天影片到这里咯，感谢大家的收看，谢谢，拜拜。
Merino wool is nature's original eco and performance fibre, grown on the simple mix of fresh air, sunshine, water and grass. Each year, Australian merino sheep grow a new fleece. This renewable fibre is harvested by skilled shearers and then classified for quality. Merino wool is processed by 2 methods. Long, uniform wools go through worsted processing, whereas shorter wools go through woolen processing. Processing starts with scouring in hot water and detergent to wash away dirt and collect lanolin, which is a natural byproduct used in cosmetics. After drying, merino wool goes through a process known as carding. Carding opens up the wool fibre staple, ready for further processing. At the end of carding, the wool can be split into slubbings for woolen spinning or formed into a sliver for worsted processing. The worsted sliver is gilled by pulling it through metal teeth to align the fibres and make them ready for combing, where the sliver is pulled through a fine-toothed comb, leaving short fibres and any contamination behind, ensuring both high quality and purity. The longer fibres are formed into a second sliver, known as top, which is reduced in thickness by drawing into a fine worsted roving, ready for spinning. Both worsted rovings and woolen slubbings are twisted during spinning to bind the fibres into a strong yarn. Worsted yarns are fine and smooth, woolen spun yarns have texture and bulk. yarns can be knitted by forming interlocking loops of yarn, using straight flatbed, 3D knitting, or circular knitting systems. Woven fabrics are made by interweaving weft yarns across warp yarns, which run the length of the resulting fabric. Colour is applied and fully absorbed into the wool fibre by dyeing in water. This process can be carried out at almost any stage, from loose wool, top, yarn, fabric, and even at the garment stage. Wool can be coloured with synthetic or natural dye for endless possibilities. Merino fabrics and garments are finished by washing to clean and soften, drying, and then pressing with steam or ironing to remove creases. Ready to be made into luxurious, technical and eco-friendly products during making up and sewing. Wool's unique journey from the sheep's back to leading retailers weaves age-old techniques with modern technology, transforming the original eco and performance fibre into luxuriously soft and highly technical yarns, fabrics and end products.
Bravo mesdemoiselles, Camille Thomas nommée cette année dans la catégorie Révélation soliste instrumentale et Béatrice Berru au piano. Bravo et merci.
订阅 Music Premium， 从此零广告，儿歌也可以不受干扰循环播放了。试试 YouTube Music Premium。
Bravo, mesdemoiselles. Camille Thomas, nommée cette année dans la catégorie Révélation soliste instrumentale. Et Béatrice Berru au piano. Bravo et merci.
YouTube Premium 是零广告 YouTube 外加 YouTube Music Premium 免费试用1个月。YouTube Music 可以使用 Google 助理来播放歌曲，试试 YouTube Music Premium。
Camille Thomas, nommée cette année dans la catégorie Révélation soliste instrumentale. Et Béatrice Béraud au piano. Bravo et merci.
Premium 是零广告 YouTube 外加背景播放，免费试用1个月。
I carry my family with me.
Bravo, mesdemoiselles. Camille Thomas, nommée cette année dans la catégorie Révélation soliste instrumentale. Et Béatrice Berru au piano. Bravo et merci.
YouTube Music 是个音乐应用程式，让你选择最符合心境的歌曲，陪你战胜那些累人的深蹲。每天都是练腿日，试试 YouTube Music Premium。 YouTube Premium 结合零广告 YouTube 与 YouTube Music 应用程式，一个订阅，双享2个应用程式，免费试用1个月。